Games used to be the cultural frontier. Entire generations grew up chasing that next immersive world, investing their time and their passion, and many forming their identity based on the games that they would play, especially when they were younger. Many people who played Nintendo games still do to this day because, while yes, they are still good games, the truth is that when you grow up on stuff like Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, that ends up becoming a part of your identity. It's the same for kids that grew up playing Call of Duty religiously, 2K for example, FIFA even. Different games and their communities help shape the entire demographics of people based on the media that they consumed in their lives. Ask any anime fan, it's the exact same thing. But before we begin, let's hear from the sponsor of this video, Tokyo Treat. Tokyo Treat is like modern Japan inside of one package delivered right to your doorstep. Every month, you're given a package filled to the brim with all sorts of tasty treats from the homeland of anime and Japanese role-playing video games. Tokyo Treats also regularly collabing with many video game franchises and animes you all know with their themed snacks. From Nintendo franchises like Kirby, Super Mario, even Pokemon, to other games like Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, and many animes from across the industry with their exclusive partnership with Funimation, to name just some of the collaborations that you can expect in every single box. Each box is designed around a theme, so the one I'm opening here is all about spring in Japan, with various treats ranging from Sakura Kit Kats, shrimp rice crackers, Sakura Blossom Cakes, vegan ramen, cherry mochi bites, cherry blossom cookies, Sakura peanuts, and much more. Here's me eating the Sakura Blossom Cake. It was nice and soft to chew and was surprisingly tasty. And here I am eating a Sakura Kit Kat. This for me was probably one of my favorite snacks of the bunch. It reminded me of being a kid playing my Super Nintendo in my parents' basement as I tried to defeat Sigma in Mega Man X. Growing up in Ontario, I would eat all kinds of snacks from around the world regularly. So what I ate here brings me back to those days in a really cool way that I didn't expect. And as you can see, the box is huge and filled to the brim with a ridiculous amount of things to eat, alongside a brochure that details interesting events happening in Japan, so if you plan to visit, you can put some of the events on your bucket list while you're at it too. Alongside showing you what each treat entails, the snack booklet also tells you exactly what's in every single thing that's included as well. So there's no second guessing if you have any allergies. As you can see here below every item available, it's very easy to read and follow so that even a dummy like me can understand it too. The entire mission of Tokyo Treat is to allow everyone who subscribes to experience Japan from the comfort of your own home through the cute snack box, while also learning about the rich culture that Japan has as well. Every box is a limited edition collaboration, so no two boxes ordered will have the same theme month to month. Instead, every time you'll be given something new to enjoy, things to learn about, and new parts of Japan's culture to indulge yourself with. I got a little carried away with eating some of the snacks, but they're tasty and surprisingly light. It's perfect for someone like me. So bring a taste of Japan's cherry blossom season to your snack time with Tokyo Treat. Whether you're treating yourself or sharing snacks with friends, Tokyo Treat Spring Box is filled with limited edition flavors you usually can't get outside of Japan. You can check out their Sakura offers in the link below or use my code to get $5 off your first box. Remember to check the description box below or the pinned comment using my code to get that $5 off your first box. We all need a little bit of fun and light in our lives, and Tokyo Treat is like a warm hug from Japan all in one place. So if you love the culture and want some tasty snacks to go along with it, you just found the best of both worlds. And big thanks to Tokyo Treat for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to it. But something has changed recently. The gaming industry isn't just struggling with rising development costs or corporate nonsense even, but it's now facing a much bigger problem than anything else. It's losing the attention war. The heartbreaking truth here isn't that video games are less fun to play. Well, that's depending on who you ask, I guess. But some people may think that video games are worse now than back in the day too. Many would agree with that besides some shining examples. But it's not that video games are worse per se, but that they're competing with experiences that demand less patience, less commitment, and this is another huge problem: instant payoff. According to a recent industry analysis, video games are now losing out to platforms like TikTok, gambling, and yes, even porn, which I can't say on YouTube, so I'll just call it adult content, I guess, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's not just in dollar sense, but also in hours watched and attention as well. As Eurogamer reported here, video games are losing big time to things like online gambling, crypto, and especially to the consumption of that dirty word, you know, adult content again. Man, it annoys me that I can't say certain words on YouTube. It's just kind of stupid. Like, we both know the word, but I can't say it. Anyways, whatever. Moving on, I guess. So what gives, right? Why are video games unable to compete with the big booty cheeks of adult websites and the potentials of what gambling does as well? Well, according to NME.com, as seen here, they spoke to experts that deal with behaviors of consumers and what they also like to enjoy. And also, if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Thank you. But all of this comes from a study published that is 164 pages long, and it's called The State of Video Gaming in 2026, which was created by an advisory group called Epleon. According to Epleon, there's actually a very specific point in recent human history that led to the shift from video games becoming increasingly dominant and then losing to other forms of entertainment. The exact time period was in 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic. As Epleon stated here, it's claimed prior to the pandemic, 8 countries, USA, Japan, UK, Germany, South Korea, France, Italy, and Canada, constituted over 60% of consumer spending on PC, console, and mobile content spending, and in the years since, those countries have encountered a severe, persistent, and surprising reality: they are losing in the war for attention. As the report further states here, if a player stopped playing altogether, then they probably weren't big gamers, and so how much revenue is really lost. But in practice, all player loss is a compounding problem because growth can only come from greater monetization. Individual games can only grow by stealing other games' players. It's even harder for new games to break through. And if some players have stopped playing altogether, many are likely playing less too. So it's a problem that has persisted now for about 5 years, going on 6 now, obviously, with the growth of games just plateauing across the board. Investments are getting more sparse, and many Western studios especially are losing the abundance of capital needed to actually make the games that they want to make in the first place. Obviously, we can blame the, consultant groups for ruining a lot of games that had a lot of potential by turning them into virtue signaling pieces of crap. Games that should have made $1 billion made now a few $100 million instead. And while that may still sound like a lot of money, I mean, it would be if the games being made didn't already cost a Tony Stark level of money to make in the first place. The point is that games are losing this attention war to gambling, crypto, and that dirty word where people do things to each other on video that is 18 plus only. Because those other things have something that games don't usually have, and that is instant gratification. Think about it, right? With gambling, it's a very vicious cycle, which is why personally I never want to even get into gambling myself. Because the few times I ever actually put a $20 bill into a slot machine and then lost that money, I wanted to burn the whole casino down with everyone inside of it. If I lost $100, or let's say like $1,000 doing that, dude, I would start committing war crimes. But for a lot of people, gambling is their addiction because of that instant gratification. You bet money and immediately you find out if you won or if you lost. There's very little downtime. The dopamine hit in your brain is likely just insane if you're able to turn like $100 into a few $1,000, right? But like I said, it's a vicious cycle because it's an industry that clearly exists to ruin most people's lives and give the lucky few all of the winnings. But everybody wants to win, of course, right? Like everything else in life. And to like most people, if you're not making money with your time that you're spending, you're probably wasting it in their opinion. So playing a video game for pleasure or whatever seems kind of pointless in someone who gambles, for example's eyes. Why would they play a game for 100 hours if they could only spend $5 and then potentially make $100,000 instead? Wouldn't that technically be worthy of your time more than the 100-hour game? Probably going to be more expensive, sure, but that is how some people think. Regardless, this gambling belief is what's ruining things like sports aplenty too. Like I can only imagine how much gambling has happened with, say, the Olympics or the Super Bowl that just passed, but it gets worse for games because the Epleon report stated more as seen here. The report says that in the USA, PC and console content spend is down 8% since 2020, while mobile spending has increased 12% since 2020 but flattened last year. Mobile game installs are at a 12-year low, hours played have tumbled, and even time spent watching video game streams has flatlined. Instead, TikTok consumption is up 39 million hours a day in North America, and last year, Americans spent almost $5 billion on OnlyFans. There's also been renewed interest in crypto, AI tools, and online betting. It's concerning to say the least that America alone has spent $5 billion on OnlyFans as a platform, like just OnlyFans, because it's just an eye-watering amount of money being spent to see women doing, various things for exchange for the money. As Google stated here, about 1.96% of all women in America right now are on OnlyFans as a platform making content. The majority of these women are between the ages of 20 to 39, with roughly 89% of all creators being strictly women on the platform too. Google does try to lessen the blow by saying that that only a small percentage of that female population is on OnlyFans. But regardless, what is true is that the majority of super hot women do it for a really good reason, I guess, because there's an insane demand for it and no one can deny it. Either way, the explosion of OnlyFans has completely eclipsed everything else around it. And a majority of the customers, obviously males, like who are we kidding, are spending a ridiculous amount of money looking at and consuming OnlyFans over really anything else these days. As Epleon further stated here, video gaming's post-pandemic problem isn't that players choose to watch TikTok instead of buying a AAA game, or subscribe to OnlyFans instead of buying a PlayStation. It's that on a Friday evening, players are placing a growing share of their time and spend elsewhere, and that's the problem here. It's that gaming in general is not offering a tangible enough reason to bring enough people back to it because, again, of that instant gratification. Besides gambling, which I already explained, with OnlyFans, it's very obvious why it's so popular, right? We all know why. Because you pay one of the creators and then like, boom, right? You get access to all kinds of stuff, and that is the epitome of instant gratification. Put in your credit card details, and you can see this lady do God knows what to herself for the price of like a McDonald's cheeseburger. To many, the allure of OnlyFans or things like that is not that it's only cheap, but also that it's really fast and it adheres to the whole degenerate side of humanity that will always exist. With video games on the flip side, especially in the West, developers and studios have kind of gone out of their way to make sure that their female characters especially are kind of nowhere near attractive or alluring, because to do that is akin to like heresy pretty much. This is the reason why so many websites always get really mad when a hot female character exists from, say, South Korea, China, or even Japan. Stellar Blade annoyed a lot of journalists because Eve, the main character, was hot and she had a rocking body. Journalists tried to claim that it wasn't realistic, despite the fact that Eve's body and face were based on a real-life South Korean model, which meant that actually no, it wasn't unrealistic. It just came off as jealousy to most. I mean, even go look at Baldur's Gate 3, right? Great game, tons of player choice, but I would be lying if I didn't admit that a big reason why people play these games like BG3, it's for the romance. That game is very mature. Again, can't show those scenes because of YouTube, but you can see whoever it is that you want fully naked in that game based on your choices. And when your romance options look like Shadowheart or Lae'zel, gee, I wonder why Baldur's Gate 3 still has a really healthy player base on Steam almost 3 years later. Look at Baldur's Gate 3 Steam player charts right now. As you can see, it's still sitting around 83,000 players on a single player game. This right now has more concurrent players than Battlefield 6, Black Ops 7, High Guard, and more. But like, why? Well, you see, because in Battlefield 6 and Black Ops, you can level up and shoot people with guns, but can you lay naked in your camp with Shadowheart while she whispers in your ear with herself fully exposed? Yeah, I didn't think so. So no wonder it has 80,000 people still playing that game. I mean, because you're all gooners. Like, you are all gooners. I'm not making fun of you, but it's true. And look, I'm not even hating, all right? Like, I romanced Lae'zel, right? The moment I met that lady and she wanted to kill me, I knew she was the right woman for me. Something about women wanting to hurt me, I don't know, man. It just hits me like a primal level, you know? I am Slavic, so maybe that's just like in my DNA or something. I don't know. Humans are complicated things. But the point is that the allure of the body, if you will, is never not going to go away. It's why the act of selling that for money is still considered one of the oldest professions in the world for a reason. I mean, even Mass Effect, right? Yeah, sure, people play that for the great world building and writing and fun cover-based combat, but I would be lying if it wasn't also about me wanting to romance Liara or Miranda Lawson, for example. I already know every single girl that is watching this video right now that has played Mass Effect knows exactly what I'm about to talk about too. Let me guess. You don't even need to tell me. Let me guess who every woman watching this is romanced in Mass Effect. Let me just guess it, okay? It was Garrus, wasn't it? Of course it was Garrus. Who else would you guys romance? It's always Garrus. Every woman loves Garrus. Like, dude is like a flame to these women if they were moths, and gee, I wonder why. You know how down bad I know some of the fans are? Right now, I just went to the BioWare online store. Look at this. The body pillow for Rex, who's like a few 100 years old frog, dinosaur, camel guy, alien thing, has his body pillow sold out on the online store. You can't even romance Rex in the Mass Effect games, yet people still bought it. You know who you are if you bought this, by the way. I'm not judging you. But I'm just also not really surprised that romance and people's horniness doesn't exactly equate to dollars spent, because it always does. I guarantee you, the only reason why BioWare hasn't closed down yet is because their online store just keeps selling out of literally everything because people are gooners for their characters. Like, I'm looking at the BioWare store while I'm like writing this video, and like, I'm gonna buy stuff too. But for example, like, look at this too, right? Look at this Garrus shirt with his rugged face on it. Oh, who could have guessed it also sold out so quickly? Color me shocked. You know who you are, but like, it is what it is, right? Is it really any surprise that games are losing the war for people's attention like this? Not really, if you ask me. I mean, speaking about just how games are designed, many of the games that people love the most have something in common: player choice. Stuff like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, they have all kinds of like ruined the majority of video games for millions of players for good reason. It's because stuff like Elden Ring, for example, being as widely popular as it is, also just allows you to exist in that world and do what you want to do in it. I think one of my biggest pet peeves, which stops me from playing certain games or just getting annoyed really, is when I play something and the game won't stop talking to me or throwing cutscenes in my face when all I want to do is play the damn game already. Horizon as a series is terrible for this sort of thing, because you can't even look at something without Aloy going, maybe if I grab that rope, what if I drop that off that ledge there? Like, oh my god, let me play the game and figure it out myself, please. Or how the newer God of War games constantly feel like the developers have their hands on your back, guiding you alone while terrified to let you just go and do what you want to do. I think a big reason why games like Elden Ring at least don't suffer from the same like pitfalls of most modern games is because of that freedom. But it also doesn't treat you like a baby taking their first steps either. There is technically nothing stopping you in Elden Ring from doing whatever it is that you want. It comes down to skill mostly, but the point is that you can go and fight anything if you're good enough. The games that do this best, they give you the ability to choose what you want to do, and the industry seems to be forgetting that. But what also worries me is that consoles in general are also just down across the board, as Epleon report shows here. From 1990 to 2025, console growth is nowhere near PC, and especially that of mobile, as you can see. Consoles are the black part of the graph, by the way, as they show on the next slide is seen here too. The majority of games that did well in 2025 also have one thing in common: they're not full price. Not a single game on screen here retailed at $70 American at release. But there's another problem. Since people are vastly starting to gorge themselves on other things like TikTok, OnlyFans, gambling, and crypto, games just aren't growing the way that they used to, as seen in this graph here as well. 55% of investments have been removed from video games entirely in 2025, meaning not as many new things are getting made, obviously, because interest is dwindling. But the growth of games versus its competition like OnlyFans is nowhere close, and it's crazy how we have to compare these things, because it's not just other games that are games competition anymore, it's everything now. According to OnlyFansStats.net, a website that tracks the data of OnlyFans, it's a real site, I'm not kidding, as seen here in 2026 so far, OnlyFans now has over 4.6 million creators. Creators exploded in size by 1,222% from 2019 to 2025, the exact time frame that games started to lose their dominance, by the way. And people spent $7.2 billion on OnlyFans subscriptions in 2024 alone. But it's not all just sunshine and rainbows, right? Because when you actually just break it all down, what we have is an audience of people that are spending their time and money on a platform for instant gratification over that of buying a $70 game, going to the movies, or really anything else. Despite this, as seen here, after OnlyFans takes their 20% platform fee per creator, the vast majority of OnlyFans girls are still only making just about $131 a month doing God knows what on that platform. So the business isn't even exactly lucrative for most creators on that platform, but the top percent of earners are making so much money that it's eclipsing every entertainment industry around them and then seriously hurting all of their bottom lines. There's unironically some guys out there who probably looked at Battlefield 6 when it came out and calculated how many OnlyFans accounts they could sub for the price of Battlefield 6 in a single month. And I bet you that some guy out there chose those subs instead because he saw more value in that than buying the latest game to play. But again, this is how things are. And I've said this before too. You're no longer facing retention rate with just one platform. It is now global. Everyone is fighting for your eyeballs. And to the surprise of nobody, the most degenerate content is always going to win. And while the growth of games has plateaued or even gone down without much signs of exploding, unless your name is of course Grand Theft Auto 6, OnlyFans on the other hand just keeps getting bigger. Like, look at this graph from 2019 to 2024. Look how much that single website's profit grew year over year. That is an Avengers level threat. We need the whole team pretty much to destroy OnlyFans or everything is toast pretty much. I don't care how good you think your game is, forget Melania Blade of Mikola, the real final boss is Michaela Booty of Miami instead. No matter what games do to retain retention, they're losing insanely badly to the might of all the gooners worldwide. And this is why, for so many years, I've said on YouTube that the games industry avoiding or downright rejecting the hot female character archetype, for example, would be their downfall. Do you see what I mean now? Why do you think Stellar Blade did so well that the CEO over there is like giving his team free gifts all the time? Because Eve's face and body paid for every gift given due to a surplus of value that they made from that game alone. This is why I'm always puzzled when I see, especially Western game creators, by the way, kind of scoff and go, we don't need hot women to sell our games. Like, really? Did you tell that to Concord and Highguard even? Like all these other games that failed too? Like again, right? Games are losing their slice of the big pie because they refuse to adapt to the ongoing meta. You can't compete with gambling or adult content. It's not like the games industry can avoid it either. Because regardless, OnlyFans is like Thanos pretty much, and every other industry is just Iron Man getting punched in the face on Titan. Like you can run from it all you want, it will arrive all the same. Even the user growth on OnlyFans tells you that this won't stop anytime soon. Like, look at this dude. In 2024, there was roughly 377 million user accounts, mind you, on OnlyFans. They gained 72 million active users between 2023 and 2024. It's even higher now. That's like, what, double of Xbox Game Pass in its entirety in 1 year in subscriptions. But the point is that platforms like this are exploding in revenue and growth year over year in a way that games could only dream of. And this is what I keep saying. The games that do the best are twofold. They either give you ultimate freedom and offer an unforgettable experience like an Elden Ring does, or the games that do stupid well offer player choice and lots of attractive women, and I guess if you're into men, that too, to swoon over and say Baldur's Gate and then some as well. This is why looking up Rule 34 art of any new IP is really important, because if there's no Gunnar art of something within 24 hours of it being announced, it's probably dead on arrival. And what's that? All right, there was basically zero Gunnar art of Concord when it released. Well, imagine that. It's almost as if people are passionate when they see idealized versions of things they aspire to be. Now, I'm not saying that OnlyFans' creators are like aspiring to other people, whatever, but the point that still stands is that the existence of the biggest creators on that platform have something in common that the games industry in a Western sense just refused to mine for all the diamonds that they're worth, which is idealized body types, attractive faces, and revealing clothing. I'm not saying that Call of Duty needs their female characters running around in like nothing but their underwear. That would be nice, but probably not. But what I am saying is that you need to shift priorities to make idealized characters that people can actually connect to. You want to know how I know I'm right? Go ask any guy who played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, like the remake version, and in that remake version, and ask them what they thought about Valeria in the campaign. You know, this lady here who interrogates you with her steely gaze and cougar-like look to her? Just ask any dude who played that what they thought of Valeria. You already know the answer, don't you? You know exactly why every dude who played Modern Warfare 2 wanted more of Valeria for a good reason, and you can definitely guess why. But that's apparently bigoted to say. Well, guess what? It's going to make you sales either way. It's going to make people want to play your game, buy the outfits. I mean, remind me again, why women love cosplaying characters like Kitana or Melina from Mortal Kombat or Chun-Li and Cammy from Street Fighter. But why nobody is cosplaying as the cast of Concord? You know I'm right. You may not like it to say that, but you got to admit it, but you know I am. But what's that? Also, let me give you another great example. Kim Kardashian's skin in Fortnite ended up being such a massive success and is now one of the highest selling skins of all time in Fortnite. Like, wow, who could have guessed that one happening? Oh, look here. Epic even allows you to change her outfits, her hairstyles, and the colors too. It's basically a build your own Kim Kardashian in your Fortnite game. Gee, I wonder why that's sold like hotcakes. I can't imagine why. But is it any wonder why whenever these Western games actually give people what they want, which is attractive women, who are we kidding? Their player numbers explode and the game spending goes up like crazy too. The point of all of this is that to ensure that if gaming wants to compete with these other things, I mean really compete with the juggernauts that are growing at crazier rates, they have to come to the realization that they are not in fact above gooning or giving people what they actually want these days. If you want your game to excel and explode, you fill it with hot people. It is what it is. Claire Obscure has a really big fan base, right? A year ago, nobody knew that that game even existed. But the guys are grizzled with beards and long hair and oh, they got piercing eyes and the women are hot and they wear eyeshadow and stuff too. And right, Claire Obscure then ended up selling like millions of copies. Like, go figure. This is why we keep telling you stop making Mary Jane look weird in Spider-Man 2. Stop concording your characters is probably a good way of putting it. Stop trying to act like you're better than other things when you really aren't, and my voice is dying. Maybe if Dragon Age Veilguard had some Kim Kardashian level looking hotness to it, that game wouldn't have flopped so hard and caused mass layoffs. I mean, the identity politics didn't help either, but you get the point. But overall, it comes down to this. Video games are losing their audiences to other hobbies or interests that do not benefit the studios or publishers who operate within these spaces because they keep making things that nobody wants. I'm not saying that every game needs to look like Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball now suddenly, but can we at least admit that this prudence of like, we're too good to make things look like this or make the female characters look hot or whatever, that needs to end now and never come back. Like, go look at GTA 6 right now, right? I guarantee you that millions of dudes are going to buy that game simply because they want to put Lucia, the main character, in like nothing but a thong and make her run around and see if the game has jiggle physics. And you could say, oh, that's bad, that's horrible, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's still going to sell millions of copies. We both know it, and it is what it is, right? So the next time some developer is watching this and thinks, I'm going to make my characters ugly to own the chuds, just remember this, okay? You're not owning anyone by doing this. The only person getting owned is yourself, because you're going to be out of a job crying on Twitter and probably posting a post about how mad you are until you inevitably delete the post or your account entirely due to the backlash. Just add the eyeshadow, add that lip liner, make the body a bit more curvy. Don't be afraid to make your female characters look like actual women, and make your men look like men too, by the way. Don't make the men look like sissy boys either. You guys see how the Fable male characters walked in that new trailer for the game? Like, for the love of God, don't do that either. If video games are losing the war on attention, then they need to do what they have to do in order to bring that attention back to them before it's too late. And until that happens, OnlyFans is going to keep growing, gambling will keep awarding that instant gratification, and crypto will continue to expand, because if video games are disinterested in giving people what they wanted, they're just going to take their time and money elsewhere. And again, a big thanks to Tokyo Treat for sponsoring this video. Make sure to use my code in the description or link below to get $5 off your first box. But what do you think? Let me know. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Don't fight the Gooners. You won't win. It just is what it is.